webinar series. This is our second session in the series, and today, a bit of a different angle. We've actually got Julie Schmidt from Scenic Rim Regional Council. So today we're looking at agritourism more from a destination perspective to understand how the Scenic Rim has actually become one of the, well, what I would say, one of the most well-recognised agritourism destinations, certainly in Queensland, potentially across the country. So it's great to have Julie here today to share their story with us. And as you know, we'll also have opportunity for questions. So the standard procedure of these webinars is we'll hand over to Julie to tell her story and introduce the Scenic Rim. And then what we'll do is I've got some questions that we will run through together and have a discussion. So it's quite informal. And then please, if you've got any questions that come up throughout the conversation, write them down. Think about some questions you'd like to ask Julie. This is a really great opportunity to throw those questions on the table. So we'll have some time at the end to address your questions as well. So thank you, everybody, once again for joining us. And I'd now like to hand over to Julie to share the Scenic Rim Regional Council agritourism story.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Linda. Thank you guys for having me today. So I'll just, while I'm doing the buttons for the screen share, I'll just introduce myself a little bit as well. So my role here at Council is Acting Manager for Regional Prosperity and Communications. So that within Council covers economic development, tourism, events, marketing and communications as well. So they all interlink within each other yeah, busy little portfolio, that's for sure. So I've been at Scenic Rim Council for nearly 18 months now, and it's been fantastic. It's honestly one of the best councils in Queensland, and you know it's got so much opportunity. So there's plenty of work to do for the team and I. Let me just hop out because I didn't hit the share sound. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay. All right. Can everyone see the screen okay?
Yep, looks great. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so just a little bit firstly about the Scenic Rim region for those that aren't aware. So we're in the southeast Queensland corner. As you can see, we're surrounded by the city of Gold Coast, Ipswich, Logan, and just right next door to the Lockyer Valley. So we've got a population of just under 45,000 people, and we're approximately 1 hour from both Brisbane and the Gold Coast. So we consider that location very strategic because we have those significant audiences in those other metro areas. We do have a fair few airports near us as well. So Toowoomba's about an hour and a half away. Gold Coast and Brisbane is within the hour. And we've also just been made one of the Olympic venues for the Brisbane 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. So that's pretty exciting for us as well. So the events will be held at Lake Wyaralong in the Scenic Rim, and it's kayaking and canoeing events, which is really good. So just another little map there about the Scenic Rim region, just to show sort of accessibility from Gold Coast, Brisbane, and you can see on the blue dotted line at the bottom there, that's the New South Wales border as well. So just a little bit firstly about our economy. So as you can see, the largest industry there is agriculture, forestry and fisheries. So that's our main sector, which makes it really, really easy to be able to complement that with our agritourism sector. Our GRP is just over $2 billion. Sorry, we're just about to get brand new data tomorrow, so I apologise. This is 2022 data, so we're pretty excited that all of these figures will increase as well. We certainly know that our unemployment rate has decreased, as has in many different areas across Australia. And our largest employer within the region is the healthcare and social assistance. And and just under 40 million there for total exports, and that covers all industries. So just focusing a little bit more on the major industries within our area. So similar to your region, our main industry is agriculture, forestry and fishing. Then we go into construction, public administration and safety, healthcare and education and training. We do have a little bit of tourism data there. So we get approximately per annum 1.6 million visitors. And that equates to just over 1 million visitor nights across the entire region. The economic contribution is just under half of the agriculture, forestry and fishing. I'm just going to call it our ag sector. So it's our tourism contribution is just under half of that and contributes to around 2,000 jobs. So just focusing a little bit more on the agritourism area. So we have, in 2022, we developed a roadmap, which is a strategy, as well as an action plan for both, covering both the agribusiness and agritourism sectors. So that's kind of what we use as our Bible as to what our priorities are, what our focus is, and what we need to bring industry on board with moving forward. Helps us to advocate to other levels of government as well, and assist with funding opportunities. They're on our Scenic Rim Regional Council website. I'm not going to go through it page by page today, but I'll outline some of the priorities that we follow. So just a little bit more on the Scenic Rim. So our competitive advantages are our affordability. So we use that as a significant advantage with all of our industries, being so close to all those metro areas. The Scenic Rim region, being a regional area, is actually very affordable compared to a lot of our neighbours, but still similar transport timeframes. We have our agricultural strengths, our natural environment, which is we are very well known for, a lot of national parks. We have a great lifestyle, probably a lot similar to you guys in regional areas. You wouldn't live anywhere else, would you? We've got that strategic location as well as infrastructure, and we've got significant tourism assets and product as well. Where we see our growth opportunities is in agribusiness, waste to value, transport and logistics, tourism as always. Tourism has sort of stayed fairly steady since COVID. I know a lot of regional areas experienced significant growth, which we did, and we've been able to maintain that since COVID as well, which is really good. Large-scale industry for our state development area. We've got health and wellbeing, and our creative industries is also increasing. So Eat Local Month. Eat Local Month has just, it's in its 12th year this year. So in the very first year, it was Eat Local Week, and it was a program of 10 events. So this year, we've just released our program in the last few weeks for our June event this year, and we've got over 120 events. So in such a short space of time, we've grown the event significantly, and it's focused completely on our producers and our agritourism sector. So just a little bit about our vision there, to be the most authentic, and I'm going to use that word a lot today. So authentic paddock to plate food and farming experience within Australia. So we've got our goals and objectives there. We do use it as an economic impact event. That's what we are focused on, is that the producers, the tourism operators, the attractions, they all get economic benefit from this event. We don't run it as a community event because those agritourism and agribusinesses that are impacted, they put so much time and effort into it, they need to get something back to continue to do it year on year. So some of those goals include the overnight and day trip of visitor expenditure. So we get great overnight expenditure. one of the issues that we do have, or the barriers, number one is accommodation within our region. That's a bit of a barrier for us. We don't have enough of it. And the second one is because we're located so close to Brisbane and Gold Coast, a lot of our visitors do come for day trips instead of overnight. So we have each year we improve on how we get increased overnight visitor expenditure compared to those day trippers. Supporting our local producers, that is our key to the event, because if they don't participate, we don't have an event. So to give you an idea, out of those 120 events, council facilitates one of those events, which is a winter harvest festival. All the rest are producers, tourism operators, etc. Each year, we also pride ourselves on the development of new visitor experiences because we need to give them a reason to keep coming back, to keep returning. Eat Local Month also helps to profile our destination, so it enhances the appeal of our region. Give you an example of where we've recently used that in our pitch for the Brisbane 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games. That was in our submission of the local producers and our natural landscapes, which we believe helped to get us over the line as well. It helps us to strengthen our reputation as a recognised food and beverage destination, and we deliver on those authentic farming, local food tourism and agritourism experiences as well. There's that authentic word there again. That's what people keep coming back for, is the authenticity of the event and of the experience. Social benefits, so fostering our community pride. Our community is very much within that experience as well. They celebrate everything that is Eat Local Month, and they then bring their family and their friends to participate. So 28% of our visitation of Eat Local Month is our local community. So we want to ensure that they have the best understanding of the event so that they can help to amplify our messages for the event as well. Fostering community collaboration and showcasing and educating the public as to the importance of fresh, local and seasonal produce. So from our 2023 event, the outcomes included over 130 events. So that was the first year that we transitioned from Eat Local Week to Eat Local Month. Our total attendance was just under 12,000 attendees. So they're unique attendances. It contributed over $1 million to our local economy for the month and generated 2,417 visitor nights. So these are our KPIs that we set to ensure that we have those economic impacts. And also the increase in per head visitor spend. So that's why we focus on those overnight visitor expenditure, because we want to increase their spend while they're here or give them a reason to return to continue spending as well. So with last year's event, we achieved over $4 million in media coverage. We certainly, as a regional council, did not spend over $4 million in media coverage. So that was as a result of, it was in the vicinity of under $20,000 spent. We got that return. So that's really, really good. We're very happy with that, and we're looking at exceeding that this year. $24 million in media reach, 54,000 website users to our eatlocalmonth.com.au website, and over 172,000 website views. We also last year, for the first time, created a direct marketing database. So we had just under 11,000. I think that's increased to nearly 12,000 now. And what we did this year, because we had that database, is we actually gave them the preview of the program and first access to purchasing tickets. So that's really, again, helped us to build that momentum, build that demand. And throughout the year, we've kept them updated with what's going on as well, not just from an Eat Local Month event perspective, but at Christmas time, we did things like shared recipes for Christmas meals using Scenic Rim produce. So it's just another way to keep our visitors engaged with the region. And then on social media, both Facebook and Instagram reached over 1.3 million people, which we were obviously very happy with. So just some outcomes continued. So 75% of event holders either sold out or reached their target of attendees. 60% of the concepts presented were new. So again, giving the visitors another reason to return to the region. 92% said that they had a great experience and would recommend the event to others, which is exactly what we want. That's what we're focusing on. Again, that authentic experience. 94% indicated their experience of visiting our region and attending the event has made them want to come back and see more of the region. So that's exactly what we're targeting. 93% are likely to attend in future years. Now, this next one is really important. 78% are likely to buy more produce from the Scenic Rim region because of their attendance at Eat Local Month. So that's amazing. That's more than we could have ever hoped for. And then 57% indicated that the event is better than others that they've attended. So I'll just, I've got about a minute and a half of video now. Hopefully the sound works. So these were some of the events in the 2023 local month. That one there, it's just a bit of a shameless plug, but it does sort of highlight, we've got 40 long lunches and dinners, 23 workshops and classes, 37 tours and experiences, and 50 family-friendly options. So that includes kids. So you can see there it's quite a variety of experiences that our visitors can attend the event and can have a different experience every year, because you can't get to you'd be hard-pressed to get to 120 events within a month. So just sort of showcasing the variety there. Just partnering with us as well. So within the Scenic Rim region, we have a local tourism organisation called Destination Scenic Rim. And just adding value to our agritourism offering, they do 2 farm gate trails per year. So they've just recently had one last weekend. And so it's one day. They have it with all of their members. They're a membership-based organisation, and they have their farm gates open to the public. And this one, the past weekend, they had thousands upon thousands of visitors. So really good to see. And it's great to have those partnerships with other entities to try and help, capitalise on any opportunities that we have. So Farmgate Trail actually commenced in 2020 throughout COVID, and it was as a response of not being able to hold Eat Local Month. And so they still wanted to get the people within the circumstances at the time and the many restrictions, but they still wanted to give people a reason to visit the region. And Farmgate Trail was one of the ways that we did that. We worked with the destination Scenic Rim. The other partnership that we had, which also commenced out of COVID, was our Scenic Rim Farm Box. So a private entity runs the Scenic Rim Farm Box, but we certainly support it in as many ways as we can. So it is sort of a bit of a co-op situation where they source all the local produce and then they deliver it to the homes throughout Southeast Queensland. So that's another value add as well, to take our product to the people in their homes. And that's it. That's my presentation. And there's some websites there. So we have Eat Local Month, as well as Visit Scenic Rim. So that's our destination marketing brand, and then my email address there if you have any questions after today. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Julie. That's fabulous. So great. So many takeaways in that. And as you were talking, I'm writing down questions, and then you would answer the questions in the next slide. So I was like, I'm really keen to hear a little bit more about, and obviously you probably weren't in council or the position at the start, but I find that for a lot of councils and destinations, it's like, how do we start? You guys have done such a good job, and you are now what I would classify as a more advanced or developed agritourism destination. But are there any key things that Scenic Rim Regional Council did in the earlier days to enable agritourism development, or just to kickstart this development that has led to where you are today?
Yeah, well, I think, look, obviously our largest industry, and it has been for a long time, is agriculture. It's about building on those partnerships that we have with the agricultural industry. Sometimes, like, for example, in times of drought, we have to diversify our income sources. And so it was a way of council building those collaboration opportunities, not just with council, but with other stakeholders as well. So, it's the collaboration, it's the cross promotion of everything that we do. For example, the Olympic Games submission, we promoted our local produce and our agritourism offering. So it's about building those networks, not just within the industry, but also capitalising on anything else that comes across us. And I guess that's why, even though I wasn't at council at the time, they did develop the roadmap and the action plan, because it was a way of providing focus to all the opportunities that were coming. So one of the key components of that roadmap and action plan was industry helped to lead that development. And so without their support and their involvement, it would not be successful. So it really is a partnership on all levels, not just within the region, but outside as well.
And can you tell me how you continue to encourage the collaboration? I imagine, what you've shared around Eat Local Month, that's obviously generates collaboration, and the projects that you talked about with the Farmgate Trails and the Scenic Rim Farm Box. But from an industry perspective, are there any other initiatives that council kind of leads to encourage collaboration and ongoing development in the agritourism space?
Yeah, I guess so we have within council, we have a very small team. So our team within the Scenic Rim Council leading tourism is a team of one. And so our events team, we have a team of two that manage Eat Local Month. So it's quite, they're significant projects and significant industries for the size of the team. So I guess what we do is we work closely with the economic development team in order to ensure that everyone is across all the different elements so that when there is opportunity in any way, we can, work it out internally and then take it to industry. So I guess within the region itself, because we are a tight-knit team, we have built those really fruitful and productive relationships with those producers, tourism operators. And, we're at a stage now where it is a lot easier because people want to naturally come on board. People come and live in the region and they automatically want to start up an agritourism product offering or experience. And we have to kind of work with that operator or investor to fine tune to make it again authentic. We have to continue down a similar path instead of offering something that doesn't really align to either what we represent as a region. And Eat Local Month is one of those examples. Before it went to Eat Local Month and it was Eat Local Week, we had a lot of events that complemented Eat Local Month, but they didn't align with the authenticity. So as an example, we also have in the month of June, we have a Clydesdale Festival. Doesn't really align with Eat Local Month, but we put it as a side plate. That's what we call it. So we do still promote it to attract the visitation, but it's not in the program as such. So we still have that partnership with them from a regional events perspective. And we want to give that visitor additional offering when they do come to the region. Again, we want to give them more reasons to continue to return.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing the story about Eat Local Month. It obviously is having great impact. And I'm curious around, the significance of the role that event plays to continue to build the brand and profile of Scenic Rim as an agritourism destination. I think in its 12th year, over 120 events in the month. You shared some really great stats there, and thank you for that. And obviously 4.1 million media coverage demonstrates, the impact, the positive impact that it has. Do you have any tips or insights that other destinations could take on board in terms of establishing an agritourism type festival or event?
Yeah, look, I think it's okay to start small and build upon what you're offering to the visitor. We haven't gotten to 120 events in 2 years, so it's okay to start small, work out what your offering is. Again, that authentic experience. What is your unique selling point? And then marketing is so underrated, but so very important. We actually, within the team, we talk about Eat Local Month, although it's an event to our visitor. It's actually a significant marketing campaign because us as council, we facilitate one event. The rest of it is a 10-week marketing campaign. So we try to ensure that all the producers and agritourism and tourism operators events are promoted and sell out, and that's why we have such high percentages because of our marketing, and that's what we focus on as a council for Eat Local Month, whereas the agritourism operators, they focus on running the event, facilitating the event. So we certainly provide support in that aspect, but our focus is definitely marketing of Eat Local Month.
That's fabulous. I'm curious, Leah, have you got any questions about that? Because I feel like thinking about that model and how Scenic Rim Regional Council put that focus on, empowering other or agritourism operators and businesses and tourism operators to run events, and then having that overarching marketing, I can see that working in Cooter-Gundagai, and it's
one
something
thing
we've
that we've
talked about.
tried in Cooter-Gundagai before, but pre-COVID. So we have just got really excited because we just got a big grant to do some events. So as you were talking, Julie, I'm going scribble, scribble, scribble. So it was really good points, and something that we can achieve. Julie, I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago on the phone.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I said then that we follow the Scenic Rim websites. And I was really surprised at the size of your team. I thought, you have a good team, so you do an amazing job for your team. So we'll definitely, and like you said, the way that you're only doing the one event and everyone else is, that is brilliant. Yeah.
And I think, again, it's having that focus. We as a council are not an agritourism offering.
Yeah.
We're a council. And so what do we do best? We do marketing. That is how we can add value to Eat Local Month as an event. And, a lot of people think that we have significant resourcing, which we don't. We're a regional council, but we need to focus on what we're trying to achieve. And so we have a significant budget for all that marketing. So we obviously contract different elements of that out. But it's about getting that economic return, because if those producers, our rate payers, our rate base, as we are so heavily focused on, if they don't see those outcomes, we may not continue to be able to rely on our operational budget to deliver those outcomes. So we have to ensure, and even in that video, as an example, there was people pulling out carrots out of the ground. And so that event is focused on kids, but adults do it too, because you can't do that in the metro areas. You can't grow and pull out your own carrots. That event every year sells out. It is the most basic form of agritourism, but within a week of the program launch, fully sold out.
Yeah.
Can't allocate any more tickets. And so our role is not to be in that space, it's to be in that marketing and bring it all together to offer a unique experience to the visitor.
Yeah. And the other interesting point, Julie, was where you said that you approach the events as an economic impact. It's not for the community, whereas our thinking was always, we're putting this on for the community, but that's a really good way to look at the events. That was really interesting.
And I guess that's the balance. And we have a community and we're very focused on our community, but what role does that community have? And for a event like Eat Local Month, the community is bringing friends and relatives to the region, so we need to help educate our community so that we have consistent messaging. But our focus is on everyone outside of the region and bringing them in, and that's the economic impact that we have to achieve every year.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story. It's great. You've inspired us again.
No, all good.
Leah, Julie, I have a question. Years ago, I spoke to one of your predecessors in your role, and they shared something that I think of often, which is she was saying we're always looking for stories, so about new agritourism operators or offerings, because those are what we take to the media and we get PR value out of them. So we get much bigger PR value out of stories than we do from what we could spend in, say, advertising in traditional media. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Because that stuck in my mind so much ever since I heard that.
Yeah. So as a part of that marketing, we actually have a publicist who helps us. And again, it's one of those benefits of having such a small team. So we work with that publicist throughout the year on our destination marketing. So she also knows a lot of the operators. And so what we do is we build up that story bank throughout the year. And even, she assisted us with doing the recipes for our Christmas newsletter to our database. And so utilizing those stories helps us to get better visibility, I guess, in those publications, for example, Courier Mail. And so we try and tell the story. It starts to build up the interest levels and the demand. And then when they have an event on, it sells out very, very quickly. So our focus is on ticket sales, because that's where the producers make their money. But if we can start building that interest level throughout the year, before Eat Local Month, then, while it is a 10-week marketing campaign, we're always on throughout the entire year. So, yeah.
Something else jumped out at me from your video, which was, I think it was just like that authenticity, that it was literally just, farmers showing how they move cattle around, or, pulling carrots out of the field or whatever. It was what farmers do every day is so interesting to people and looks fantastic in video.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's that authentic experience. Although farmers don't find that interesting, it's not the farmers that we're targeting. That's not our demographic. So, have a think about the people that live in the cities. Obviously, for us, it's Brisbane, Gold Coast, some from Toowoomba, moving out towards the west. And it's about what their interest level is, So again, pulling carrots out of the ground, who would have thought you could make money doing that on top of selling the carrots? Yeah.
I think that's an interesting point, because I've talked to many farmers and they feel like they have to create something really big or impressive. They don't often value the fact that what they do every day is so interesting to other people. Like you said, just pulling carrots out of the ground, like that kind of hands-on experience where people can get their hands dirty and feel like they're part of it, is so valuable to people that don't get to experience that. So I think it's the simple things, like farmers just need to look at what they do every day and go, this could be an experience.
Yeah. And I think it's about that education piece as well. People don't know what they don't know. And so as a part of that experience, they might learn, the cost of what they sell the carrots for to the supermarkets, or they could learn about the length of time it takes to grow a carrot, all that basic information, that, again, the farmers know, it's been passed down to fourth, fifth, sixth generations, but our visitors aren't aware of that. They know carrots as, being in Woolworths, and that's where the carrots are grown. So, the education piece is really important and helps people to understand not only the value of the produce, but how it's grown, how it's prepared, how it's made. Which is a lot of our experiences, and that's why our workshops are increasing every year as well.
I have another question, which was, how does Eat Local Month and the farm gate 2 days of the year, how is that grown agritourism experiences that are open, say, every weekend or open seasonally, like during your high tourism season?
Yeah, so with the Farm Gate Trail, we obviously work with them to ensure that they don't host that throughout Eat Local Month. What we do find with Eat Local Month is that our operators and producers run out of produce throughout the month. So we try and ensure that, great problem to have, I know, but we try and ensure that it is spread throughout the year as best as we can. And so with the Farm Gate Trail, they certainly get on-farm experiences, but quite often with Eat Local Month, for example, they could go to the same farm and have a long lunch as opposed to just buying produce from that farm gate. So again, different experiences, different reasons to return. Sometimes it can, build up that interest, as I was talking about before, but sometimes there's, a unique point of difference. So again, that carrot event in Eat Local Month, you can't do that at any other time of the year because they're a big food processing operator, but something like I think there was in the video a gin distillery. You can do that at different times of the year, but they may have a special focus on building your own or making your own gin, or having tastings of different gins, which they may not do throughout the year. So again, it's just adding value to what they're already doing.
Love it. I'd love to open up. Does anybody else have any questions that they'd like to ask Julie whilst we have her? If not, I have a couple of final questions.
I could ask one more. I'm a big question asker, Julie. Do you have any idea, like, how many year-round offerings you have? So how many maybe farm stays or like farm tours or that kind of thing, or maybe agricultural producers markets that are available throughout the year outside of the farm gate trail and Eat Local Month? So just things that, if I'm coming out for the weekend, what can I choose from?
Look, it changes all the time. The reasons why it does change is sometimes it's seasonal, like produce is. Sometimes the agritourism operator can have multiple offerings. So it can have accommodation as well as produce, as well as an experience. And they will change that throughout the year, or one may not be viable and they won't proceed. So it certainly does change per year. We also, being a council and being a local government, we work very closely with our planning and compliance teams. So sometimes just say there's a farm that is running an event, they can sometimes need extra permits to do so because it may impact on accessibility to their farms or the number of toilets they need and that sort of thing. All very important, and very important for the visitor experience, because there's nothing worse than going to an event and there's only one toilet amongst 500 people. Like, it just ruins everything, the whole day, no matter how good pulling a carrot out of the ground is. And so, we work with our compliance team and our operators. As a council, we offer a concierge service. So when new businesses and new operators are wanting to start or are having issues with either planning or compliance, one of our economic development team members actually helps them through and walks them through the process and goes to the meetings with them, so that there's sort of another person there to ask questions or to help navigate what can be sometimes quite a complex or risky process. So that's also complements how we build our relationships with the operators as well. So it comes full circle. But I guess I don't know exactly how many of each off the top of my head, but we do monitor that year on year. We do monitor the levels. We monitor the planning applications. I certainly know that Destination Scenic Rim has 152 members as of right now. So that is, that can be anything from a farm gate to an accommodation operator to a hospitality business, but their levels, vary depending on year as well. So, I think it's natural, like our retail sector. Some stay for a year, some stay for 30 years, but I would say probably, and just gauging across Southeast Regional Queensland, we have a significant tourism product and experience offering compared to a lot of our neighbours, and that includes the big metro council areas as well. I know Logan City Council is very jealous of our offering.
Yeah, I know a few councils are very jealous of your offering.
Yes.
But you've done the work. I think that's the story, right, Julie? I think I love how you talk about you've got the roadmap, the action plan. You've obviously been quite strategic over the time to get to where you are today. So it's not like this has just happened overnight. There's been a lot of focus and commitment and hard work by council and by industry to actually collectively work together to create this. And I think that's the big learning for a lot of councils and destinations is this is a collaborative approach. You have to work together if you are very serious about becoming an agritourism destination and achieving the success that the Scenic Rim has. The work has to be put in, you know, and I love how you just talk about that concierge model around compliance. And you've obviously considered all of those challenging areas and the opportunities and so said, how can we work together to really, develop and grow in this space? So I just love it. I think it's great, and you deserve the envy and success.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're also, there's no one ingredient that makes it work. And as you were just saying, it's not an overnight success. Like, everyone involved has worked very hard to get where we are. And it's not reliant on just council or just industry. Like, it's everyone working together. And that's probably one of the highest recommendations is about collaboration, networking, working together for the greater good, because without that, we wouldn't be where we are. We would have, multiple different segregations within our sectors. And it's because we all come together working towards the same goals and the same priorities is one of the main reasons why it works so well.
Can I just ask on that, Julie? I know you might have moved beyond this now, being a more mature agritourism destination, but in the earlier stages, was there any kind of working group or collaborative group that formed with council and operators and even the different departments within council, planning and tourism, economic development, etc., that came together to drive the roadmap? Or how did that work to form that collaboration and those relationships initially?
Look, there was a working group that contributed towards the roadmap and the action plan, absolutely. And that was crucial, again, because without the support of industry, we can't make it happen on our own. I think advisory committees are as good as the people that are on them. If the people are invested, they will produce some great outcomes. I think in regards to what we do now, so specifically for Eat Local Month, what we do is we do a debrief with the producers and event holders several, like at least 6 months after the event. And what we do is we go, right, this is what our learnings are from the previous year. This is the feedback we've received. We've got all that data, like I spoke to tonight. So we run independent research to get that information, because if it's not independent, council can talk about how good we are until the cows come home, excuse the pun, or the carrots are pulled out of the ground. But if we don't have that independent research to back up what we're delivering, then it just adds to the evidence that we are on the right track. So that's really important as well, to qualify and validate everything that we do. By us delivering that information back to industry, it makes them feel a part of the picture, a part of the planning for the next year. And so that is also crucial as well, to not just get their feedback, but get everyone on the same page. And, we've just, in Queensland, we've gone through local government elections. Within the first 2 weeks, we got a majority of new councillors within our council. Within the first 2 weeks, we had to educate them on Eat Local Month. In a nutshell, here's Eat Local Month. And so that was within days before the launch. So again, we have to bring everyone on that journey. We have to educate them that it's not a community event. They're, councillors and council are very community focused, which is fantastic. But it's another area of the community with outcomes, with statistics or data that back up everything that we do. So some important elements there.
Fabulous. Thank you, Julie. Is there any final words of wisdom or advice that you would give other councils that are perhaps in the earlier stages of their agritourism development journey?
Yeah, look, bring your council on that journey, and I think bring your industry on that journey. It's not going to work if council dictate to industry. It has to be a collaborative effort. Again, remain authentic. Don't build experiences that aren't authentic, because they're not going to work. And so that's what people are after these days. They want value for money, and they want the experience that is unique to that operator. So stay authentic. High quality marketing. It doesn't have to be through a marketing company, just good imagery as a basic first step, and so remember, build on it every single year.
Thank you so much, Julie. I think for me, authenticity is obviously key from what you've said. You've talked a lot about collaboration, and I love it. I love the roadmap. I love the strategic focused approach. And like you said, high quality marketing, storytelling. And thanks for asking that question, Kushla, because that's, the storytelling and the behind the scenes, and using the farmers and the characters to actually engage and connect with people, I think is a great strategy. So thank you so much once again, Julie, for your time. And thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening and putting in the effort to be here. I hope you've enjoyed the session. Thank you. Have a lovely night.